Statewide school scores are in. Dr. Lamar Goree, Caddo Parish School Superintendent, is here. Doc, how you been? Nice to have you back.
I'm doing very well. How are you, Robert and Erin?
Good.
I'm getting younger every day, but that's another story for another time.
Caddo Parish gets a C, but you're holding steady at a C, but you've improved a smidge overall, right?
We have, and we're certainly, when we look at the C that we received, it's 3.6 points growth overall for district. And when we looked at our district in comparison, of course, to our comparable districts in size and makeup, generally you look at EBR, Jefferson, and Orleans in some senses. So we were very happy we were competitive within those circles of schools.
High schools, no Fs, but you have, I think, Woodlawn, Huntington still at a D. Are those the troubled areas?
Well, of course, anytime you are a D school, that's an indicator that you're getting close to that, entering that failing status. So certainly you do have to be very specific with your supports in those D schools. Caddo does have a range of D schools that's concerning, and in that respect, we're working diligently to bring those schools off of that D list and move them to the next level as well, or higher, A, B, or C level. One thing I will tell you, though, Erin, when I came into this work 4 years ago, the big thing was reducing the Fs, and we've certainly done that, but now we've got to move to the next level and look at how can we reduce the Ds and ensure that we give every child the very best education possible.
When you talk about the D schools, you are for the most part talking about elementaries, I guess. I would think, and we've had other superintendents tell us this, the biggest challenge is the younger the kid, right?
Well, I think that really the way the system is designed, that you do get probably more attention and you have more opportunities at the upper grades to earn points with students. And I think that when you look at the lower grades, it's pretty simple. It's based on the test score. So in that respect, though, we utilize that data so that we can respond appropriately and provide interventions and provide instructional programs. We're strengthening our curriculums as well so that we can ensure that all students are as successful as possible.
Doc, I know you're going to shoot straight with us here, but we spoke with Cade from DeSoto. He's got an A. You're in a different position. This is the last year of grading on the curve. You have to be concerned that this is changing next year, and we could be, you have an inner city in your district. You have to be concerned about when the changes are made, what's going to happen here.
One thing I'll tell you, Erin, and first off, I'll tell you, and Cade's one of the first people I talked to yesterday, a wonderful friend of mine. I'm so proud of DeSoto, so proud of Bossier, so proud of them both and what they've accomplished. But, one thing Cade called me was, as you dig into the data, we're making incredible progress for children. And, at some point we have to decide not to just define ourselves by a letter grade, but to define ourselves by the amazing things that are happening in our schools every day. And that's what I stand committed to. We will work very hard to continue to give every child every possible advantage. And we pray that the community is wise enough to know that every time we get closer to getting it right, the rules change. And in that respect, though, we are only going to work hard for kids every day. I'm not going to worry about a system that's already told me it's going to be 100 more Fs. I'm not going to get caught up in that, because then that's distracting from the children who need me to be focusing on curriculum and instruction.
I certainly see the point of you saying we don't define ourselves specifically or only by a grade, but there are governments, there are systems, there's a lot of people who do. So when it comes time for that judgment day, what are you going to say to them? And will they buy into what you just explained to me and Erin?
At the end of the day, I'm going to come and I'm going to do the very best job I can for children, and I serve at the pleasure of the board. It's all I'm going to tell them, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Let me ask you.
I'm going to tell them just what I told you.
No
fears.
I have no life, so I dug deep into this report.
Okay.
Some things I struggle with. Oak Park, 3 years Fs. Queensboro, 3 years Fs. Sunset Acres, 3 Fs in a row. Turner goes from a 54 to a 38, now an F. What specifically can you do at those schools? It's got to be a lower student-teacher ratio has got to be one of the keys, but how do you pay for it, right?
So what I would tell you, if you look at the research now, I could also walk you to several schools that have been A's. I can walk you to CMM
absolutely.
that's been the #1 school for years and years. I can walk you to South Highlands that's performing excellent. These schools have been A schools since the inception of the program.
Sure.
And what I would tell you that the measurable difference, and research supports this, it's not my opinion, all the schools you've mentioned are schools of poverty. They're schools where we have over 98% of the children being raised in poverty. Now, in that respect, Erin, there's a lot of extra stuff we have to do. I'm so excited that we work in a district that is taking equity seriously. We work in a district that understands if we're going to have qualified teachers in those schools that you just named, it's going to require some additional resources. And our district is allocating those resources. That's the elephant in the room. It's a lot of poverty there. So we have to overcome some of the things that the poverty brings. And
These
again,
kids aren't being read to at home. They're not.
I can walk you to 10 that have never been below an A.
Absolutely. But these children, they don't have books in their home. They don't have, some of them don't even have mom or dad home when they wake up to go to school. How do we bring the whole city together?
That's soft data. That's nothing I can change. All we can do is within those hours that we have them, we have to work diligently to give them the resources to be successful. That's what things like the Amazing Shake is all about, looking at that social emotional aspect of what we're doing for children so that we can give them the skills to be successful.
When you're looking at that kind of uphill fight, how do you as a superintendent, how do your principals maintain, how do they keep a positive attitude, a we can do this attitude facing such an uphill fight?
We have to not let those people you described that want to label us as a score get in our head. We have to ignore that. We have to continue to work hard for children. I promise you, every school you just named, if you walk in the school, you would be overly impressed with how hard those people are working. And we can't let that define them. We can't let someone saying an F, it means that the teachers aren't teaching or that we need smaller classes. It means that we have to refine everything that we're doing and continue to refine that and continue to work hard for those children where many of them, they're hostages. We are the best that they have. And we have to continue to work hard every day for those students.
You hear this all the time, so let me give you a chance to address it.
And I'm going to tell you, Erin, this argument's going to get louder because there are going to be more F schools. The state's told us.
Let me ask you, you hear this. You hear this a lot, and so I want you to address it. Those schools don't have the same physical plant that some of the AC Steers, some of the others do, and they don't have the same library system and all that. Is that accurate? Is that not accurate? Can we do more physically in those schools?
Right, Erin. And what I'll tell you is if you look over the last 3 years, and I can only speak to those three to 4 years at this point, we have certainly made every effort to equalize what we're offering in facilities. Now, I will tell you, though, from a resource perspective, equity is a big deal in this district. In many of those schools, we realize we have to do more. When we look at TAP initiatives with full payout models, which is something that DeSoto has done a wonderful job of implementing, we did that within our 14 most struggling schools. When we look at specific curriculum support from our curriculum specialists that's targeted towards schools in need, many of the schools that we describe, when we look at our schools that have been D and or F for the last 3 years, those are the specific schools where we're working. When we design initiatives to support new teachers and we add new teacher coaches, those are the specific schools where we're doing that work. So please know, we as a system, we're doing equity. It has really has led us to do more in those schools, and we just pray that we see the results to match the hard work that our employees, our teachers, our principals, and everyone in those schools are putting out.